This is the Weld Like Bazza podcast.
Welcome along to each and every one of you to the Weld Like Bazza podcast. This is episode 005.
Industry news, machine reviews, interviews, and a lot more right here on the Weld Like Bazza podcast.
So first of all, let me thank each and every one of you for giving me the minutes and the time and the dedication to, number one, subscribing to the show, number two, listening, spending your time listening to me ramble on about the welding industry. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to share this very special news that I received last night. And that's the only reason why I'm doing a very short podcast today, is because we've got some fantastic news to share with you. That news is that I had an email from Apple only last night saying that the Weld Like Bazza podcast has ranked 124 globally in the technology category. Right, so that's on Apple Podcasts. The Weld Like Bazza podcast has ranked 124 in the technology category. Now, that's down to you. Yeah, we're not number one across the entire board. We're not number 10 across the entire board. But within 5 episodes, we're 124. Now, that's down to your time listening to me in your car, on your phone, on your stereo, on your loudspeaker, on your smart speaker, whenever you're doing whatever you're doing. Secondly, that's not the best news yet. Earlier in the week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I received an email from Spotify saying that we were ranking top 15 in the technology category globally. Majority of our listeners are listening on Spotify, and that's what I would recommend you do. The quality's better. And even if you listen via Apple, the audio and reality still comes from Spotify. But give us a listen on Spotify. Weld Like Bazza, currently number 15 in the UK, and it's all down to you. Yeah, obviously the guests that we get on board and the stuff that we talk about is going to be really important, but it's just letting you know that if you want to advertise with us or come on and talk about your products or your stuff, at least the right people are going to be listening. So that leads me to the next part of today's show. It's going to be really quick. Oliver asked me in the week, what are you doing Monday and Tuesday? Because he had half term from school and he wasn't coming till Wednesday. I said, well, actually, as it happens, it's fallen really well. Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to a Genset training day, a couple of days at SWP. And I want to thank absolutely everybody at SWP. Number one, for making me feel extremely welcome. I felt like the most looked after person on the planet. I do think the highlight was when I made everybody a coffee on the training course. I don't know if that was day 1 or day 2, but I enjoy looking after everybody, and I made everybody a coffee and got everybody settled. And that it wasn't even my training course. I don't even work for SWP. But anyway, just thanks everybody at SWP for making me feel extremely welcome. Thanks to Paul Morrison. First time I've met you in person, mate, and just, yeah, absolutely in awe. And I can't wait to do everything that we spoke about together in the future. That's going to be great. Also, Paul Carney, just what a legend of a fella. Can't wait to do the stuff that we've spoke about together. Simon, thanks for picking up the bill, making sure that everybody got fed and watered. The hotel room were great. Mine was a little bit hot, to be honest. I think I turned the heating on when I got back. I woke up in the night, it was like something like 27 degrees. But, you know, that's a typical hotel room, isn't it? But thanks, Simon. You made sure that everybody had a great time. Everybody was looked after. It was good to have a look around as well and see you in your very own environment. Thanks to everybody in the office. It was just brilliant. I can't thank anybody enough. Down to the training itself, very basic, very, very, very basic, but good. You know, it gave me an insight as an engineer to, I think, other people's capabilities and how I could maybe help people in the future. And that brings me to my next step. Ben, just what a legend you are. Let me talk about this. Ben, you're one of the only or the very few young lads that I've met recently that's got so much enthusiasm for the industry. Now, my offer stands, Ben, If there's anything that I can help you with, you've got my number now. It doesn't matter what machine you're working on or what products you're working on or what you're struggling with. Give me a call. You've got my number and I will talk you through whatever I can do to help you get to the bottom of the problem on the day, but also become a better engineer. The reason that I want to be that person for you is quite simple. I had my dad, and as well as my dad, like the welding side came from some of the best welders on the planet, some of which now are like world-renowned welding engineers and welding inspectors. And I could name a few, but ultimately from the engineering and servicing side, and definitely the repair side and running a business, I had my dad. And at SWP, you've got people there to support you, but in my opinion, I was taught by the very best. So if I can give you some help and encouragement and advice, I am more than happy to do that, because the more good young engineers and welders that we get in this industry, the better this industry is going to be. That takes me to the next part of this very, very, very short podcast this week. Sheldon has ranked the top most listened to podcast in all the shows that we've put forward so far. I know that Sheldon's not shared his show whatsoever. I don't know if it's been shared internally at Fronius, but I know that people are really, really, really raving about Shelley's show. People are saying that they really enjoyed it and it was great. So Sheldon, we need to get you back on, as we discussed anyway. And I know that yourself and Grandpa Nick have hopefully got a meeting within the next few weeks, but that'll be all right. But anyway, yeah, so all good, all great. These rankings, these placements in the podcast charts, that's down to you, the people listening, and the content that we've got coming forward. Coming up, I want to tell you about some very, very special interviews. Number one, I've got the CEO of Kawasaki Robots UK coming in to talk about what we really believe together is the right and wrong legislation regarding robots and cobots. I think you're going to completely have your minds blown and maybe, hopefully, potentially eyes opened at what is actually acceptable when you read it to the letter of the law and what's not acceptable. Also, as I said, Shelley's coming back on, but next week I'm going to Harrogate to meet with a guy called Mark. I've known Mark forever, my entirety of my career in the welding industry. Now, Mark does not work in the welding industry, so why am I getting Mark on? I can hear you shouting and crying. Why Mark? Mark is a calibration expert. He's the main managing director of Pullman Instruments in Harrogate, and his knowledge on calibration and instrumentation is second to none. What he doesn't know is not worth knowing, and is a guy that will go out of his way to learn more. Very much like myself, you can never know enough. So next week's podcast is going to be a long one, and I want each and every one of you to listen to that one, because we're going to dig deep into how he, as a company, approaches calibration and what it actually means. So it doesn't mean, anything different to him than us calibrating welding machines. Ultimately, we are calibrating meters. Doesn't matter if the meter's on a welding machine or on a thermostat on a fridge. It's all about calibration. So I can't wait to talk about that. Also, the Weld Like Bazza podcast has his first live event booked for, I think it's around September this year. I'm going to hopefully we've got to sign some documents, but hopefully I'm going to be at the SWP Open Day live this year on the Weld Like Bazza podcast. And I'm going to give absolutely everybody who wants to come along, have a chat with me, 3 minutes to talk about the welding industry, your highs, your lows, the good points, the bad points, and maybe anything that you've seen that's quite good or bad at the SWP Open Day. So we're going to be doing that in September. Weld Like Bazza's going to have his own very own products launched, hopefully by summertime of this year. work in progress at the moment. And we're not just talking about merchandised hoodies, we're talking about actual welding goods. That's all going to be coming up. And also, I said it was going to be really quick today. Oliver wanted to jump on board. He's been on holiday from school, and I think he got a little bit bored on Thursday and Friday. He wanted to ask a couple of questions to his dad on the World Like Bazza podcast. So coming up, and only a couple of seconds away, is my dude Oliver. I want to thank each and every single one of you for listening, because it's you that's got us those positions on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All right, we're doing great. It's a great place to be a part of. We've got so many questions to ask. We've got so many questions to answer. And I want you to be part of it. All you need to do is email me at studio@worldlikebazza.co.uk. All right, or barry@worldlikebazza.co.uk. Those emails will come straight through to me, and I can answer any questions and bookings that you may have. So, right, super. Straight on with this little mini interview with Oliver about a crazy week. Thanks again. This is episode 005 of the World Like Bazza podcast.
This is the World Like Bazza podcast.
Right, just talk normal now. Just make sure that sounds okay.
Does it sound alright?
A little bit. Just keep on talking.
Buzzer.
Yeah, I just need to turn you up a bit, I think.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Starting?
Yeah, we can start now.
Right.
I think it's funny that you're coming on my podcast. I didn't think you'd be that cool.
Well,
what?
right.
Go on.
Bazza.
Yeah, Bazza.
Where have you been all week?
What do you mean, where have I been all week?
I mean, where have you been all week?
Well, this week on Monday and Tuesday, I went to a Genset training day.
Fancy.
It was fancy, actually. Do you know where I went?
Where?
Top secret location.
Where is it?
SWP.
It's not very top secret then, is it, if you just told me?
Of course it's top secret.
Well, you just told me.
It were good, though. It were really good. I got to meet the Italians and realised that Grandad had taught me extremely well about generators over my long career, because I seem to be jumping in a little bit on the second day and helping out an awful lot in the teaching and training.
Did you get on with anyone?
Did I get on with it? I got on with everybody. What do you take me for? Like, what do you mean?
You're just curious.
What do you mean you're just curious? I get on with everybody. The Italians were great, actually, and I met everybody at SWP that I speak to on phone. I don't know what they look like. But so Simon were my host, and I got to meet Paul Morrison, the sales director, and that were really nice because I've only ever spoke to him on phone and email before. So I got to meet him and people in office that I never even knew, so that were good.
Well, did you get in any scraps?
No, I didn't get in any fights, Oliver. What do you take me for?
Are you sure?
Yeah, of course I'm sure. Of course I'm sure.
How was the hotel room that you were in?
Oh, it were okay, right? But I must have put the heating on when I came back from the bar on the night time, and I woke up at night and I was like sweating my nags off. It were like 35 degrees. It were like being in Spain in middle of heat wave. I was sweating, bed was soaking. It were horrible.
Well, if it's that hot, what are you doing with the heating on? It's not helping, is it?
It wasn't hot when I went to bed. That's obviously why I turned it on.
But if you woke up and it were 35 degrees...
After I'd turned the heating on.
Did you talk to someone about aliens and UFOs?
I didn't talk to anybody about aliens and UFOs, Oliver. I was there about Genset and maybe some top secret work regarding the podcast.
Very surprising.
What do you mean, very surprising?
You're always talking about UFOs and aliens.
I know, but I believe in them, that's why. Top secret technology. That's why I'm such a good engineer.
Just a question.
Right.
Another good question. Did you get hammered?
No, I didn't. I only had shandy. I didn't get hammered at all. I really behaved myself.
I think you did get hammered. I think you were absolutely hammered.
I wasn't hammered. I'll tell you what, ask our Gaza next time you see him. But then again, Gaza will only know because he wasn't there. He was on holiday.
Big Gaza. What colour welders does Nick sell? This is a really, really important question. You've got to answer this one really well. What colour welders does Nick sell?
Red.
Oh, fancy.
He sells nice red welders, does Nick.
So, got a few more questions left.
Go on.
How many people did you tell to very rudely, very, very, very rudely, some foul language, to go away?
Nobody. I got on with everybody. I behaved myself. I helped out with some training, and I met a lovely lad called Ben, the SWP engineer apprentice, who's a great kid, and kind of give him a bit of an insight, because I felt that the course was very, just do this, do this, do this, do this, and this is the answer.
Why have you done that in an accent?
They were the Italians.
It's a bit offensive, that is.
No, it's not
It's racial profiling.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
You're going to get cancelled now.
I'm not going to get cancelled. I was doing the Italian accent.
That's racist.
It's not. It's not racist.
Who is your next guest for next episode?
A guy that I don't think you've ever met is called Mark from a company called Pullman Instruments, and he does it's he knew Grandad forever, and he works at what we call a calibration house. And I'm going to get him on to talk about the importance of calibration, because I think it's overlooked. And after kind of listening and watching people over the last couple of days, I think it's something that really needs to be addressed. So I'm looking forward to it. He's going to buy me lunch, and I'm going to go to Harrogate. Harrogate, nice and posh.
I don't have a clue what you're on about, but it sounds fancy.
It's fancy. It's going to be good.
That's his laugh.
He wasn't there. Gaz is on holiday.
Don't matter who's. Part of conversation had to include.
Part of conversation had to include your impression of Gaza.
Also, something else I just remembered.
Go on.
When's Big Nick give me my Kit Kats? I've been waiting all week. Or month, even.
Well, you'll have to phone him or send him a message, say, Grandpa Nick, I need me Kit Kats.
I'll be in contact with him soon.
So what have you done all week?
Nothing.
What did you do today at work? Because you've been with me for the last 2 days, but you came into work today. What did you get up to today?
Nothing really.
Did you take any orders?
No.
Did you clean Grandad's desk?
No.
Did you paint anything? Because your painting looks good. Everybody thinks it looks ace.
No.
Well, why?
Because I didn't.
You know what? And everybody at Leeds Welding thinks you're the most amazing young lad.
Do you know what I did do?
Go on, what do you do?
Ate a wrap. And it was lovely.
Chicken wrap.
Yeah.
Mexicana.
Yeah.
You know, I do treat you well. But do you know what? You're still not going to come and work for me, are you?
Well, if I get a wrap, then yeah.
If you get a wrap every day?
Yeah.
Is that all you want? You don't want a good wage? Or an apprenticeship?
I don't know.
You could be my podcast media manager.
As long as I get one of them wraps or sausage sandwiches in me, I'm in.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like we've got a new apprentice in a couple of years then. We'll have to tell your mum. That's going to be bad news.
Yep.
She won't be happy about that.
Get me them sausage butties.
So, what do you think about me being away this week?
Good.
It wasn't good. You didn't even check in.
I did check in.
You didn't check in.
I wore it. See? Just then. See?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoy it. I like being away because
Okay.
I spend an awful lot of time at work or with you, so I don't see anybody else really. So it was really good to socialise with everybody. And it's always good to get away from Nana for a couple of hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have it.
I've told Nana about sausage casserole.
Have it.
Oh, she's gonna, that sausage casserole, she's not happy about that conversation.
What do you mean?
Told her that the reason it takes you 7 hours to eat it is because you think it's rank.
You actually?
Yeah?
What?
Yeah, I've told her, yeah. I said Oliver absolutely detests the sausage casserole.
Well,
I'm surprised she didn't kick you out of the house today.
There's nothing better than truth.
Anyway, what about my workshop? Do you think it's looking tidy?
Yeah. Do you know what it looks like?
Go on.
Ron Pickford's garage.
Who's Ron Pickford? Who is he?
It's Ron Pickford's garage.
Ron Pickford. I don't think this conversation is going anywhere, is it?
Could go to Ron Pickford's garage.
It could go Ron Pickford's garage.
It could.
Do an MS Welding promo for us.
Go to the website and have a look.
Tell everybody where to check us out.
On the website.
Where is that? Where's the website?
On internet.
Where is it on the internet, on website? It's dead simple. It's mswelding.co.uk.
It's mswelding.co.uk.
Can you say that in a really good voice?
No.
Do another Gaza impression.
That just laugh. Sounds like a deflating balloon. One of them squeaky ones.
Gaz from SWP.
Yeah.
Is that what it genuinely sounds like?
Yeah.
What about Big Nick? You like Big Nick though, don't you?
Yeah, because he gives me chocolate.
It looks like Father Christmas. He does. He's like a gentle Father Christmas, is Nick.
Yeah.
And he sells red welders.
Oh, yeah.
Right, have you done then?
Yeah, I finished.
Any more questions that you want to ask for podcast?
No more questions.
No more questions?
No.
You think it were funny?
Yeah.
What episode's this?
Number 5.
Is it? Are you looking forward to number 6?
If it's in Ron Pitford's garage.
And where can people find the podcast?
Spotify.
And where else? Apple Music.
Apple Music.
Can there?
Well, that's what you just told me to say, so yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to get off then, seeing as you're the most intellectually important interviewer that I think I've never had.
I am, completely.
Right. And what are you studying at school again?
Don't get me started because I don't even know. I don't have a clue.
I thought this was really important because of something that you're currently studying at school.
Not in the slightest.
Media. I thought you were doing media.
Yeah. Not this.
This is media. Media of the mind.
Shut up.
The Weld Like Batter podcast is sponsored by MS Welding, the #1 welding solution provider. mswelding.co.uk